eliminated the bleeding. And I was in Las Vegas on Christmas Day, 1990, I believe it was, 1990. And I passed out, and they took me to the emergency room, and they said, you've lost a lot of blood. We don't know if we can save your life. And my parents had to fly out from the East Coast. And, I come from a family of doctors. And so right before they put me under, I said to the surgeon, please, if you can, resect my abdominal muscles, don't cut them, because I knew if they cut them, I was going to be out of the movie. And as I woke up in the recovery room, a day later, I got a call from the studio, and there were no flowers, no get well soon. It was be back at the set, or we're going to recast. And I had myself discharged 3 days later, I think it was, against medical advice. And I started working out with a guy from the LA Rams. And I managed to rehabilitate myself and do every single one of the stunts in Karate Kid, with the exception of one stunt, which was a car driving across train tracks with a speeding train. And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's where you draw the line. Yeah. Wow. So you went back and performed all of your own stunts. Did you have any repercussions from that?
The wound hadn't healed completely. After Karate Kid, I went on to go do the television series The Outsiders.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola produced, and I'll never forget, and he probably doesn't remember it, but David Arquette came up behind me, gave me a big bear hug, and it just opened it up all over again.
Oh, no.
It took me a long time to heal. With your abdomen, really, it moves with you almost every way that you move. So
yeah,
it takes a while to heal. So, as far as what I have with me is I've got about an 11-inch scar. It's faded a lot, but something, I look at it and I honestly, I wouldn't trade it, because it was as awful and scary as it was at the time. It was an amazing experience, because at a very young age, I learned a lesson that I think a lot of people don't learn till they're older, which is, getting in touch with your own mortality.
Yeah.
And it also, it gave me a glimpse into, I guess you say some of what I'm made of, because I definitely could have gone either way when I was in the operating room. I mean, I really started to feel myself getting tired and slipping away, and I knew I had to kind of will myself to get through this.
Yeah.
And through God's grace, I was able to do it. And it was, and then there was the whole, sort of coming back from that and being able to rejoin the film. It taught me a lot at a young age.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, that's not a lesson that most, what were you, 19, 20?
Yeah, I probably just turned 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, you were still a kid.
I was still a kid.
Yeah. You had already done like karate. You had already been into karate before this movie, and not for the movie, just as your own personal.
I studied martial arts since I was about 13 years old. So it was something that was, it is a very important part of my life.
Right. Well, do you think that that it's helped you throughout your career? I mean, aside from Karate Kid, do you think it's kind of helped you in your life and your career?
Absolutely. I think studying martial arts has been one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. I think it teaches discipline, and it teaches humility, which is obviously different than humiliation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can learn humility at a young age, I think it's a really wonderful quality, and not sort of a sort of a false modesty type of humility.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a wild kid when I started martial arts, and it really it settled my ass down, and it gave me some discipline and some very much needed focus. And I think ultimately it helped me in school, to be better disciplined and organized and focused. And then I competed in tournaments when I was younger, and you're squaring off with somebody else, and putting your ability against somebody else's. Win, lose, or draw. There's always a lot of lessons in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I know, in fact, that you get asked this question a lot, because I saw it on Twitter just a few minutes ago. Cobra Kai season 3.
Oh, I tell you, I'm so happy that Cobra Kai is having as much success as it has. Really happy for my friends Billy Zabka and Martin Cove. I've heard sporadically from the producers. It would be wonderful if they choose to put me in, but at this point right now, don't have any information as to whether or not that's going to happen.
Right.
So hopefully they will.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be everybody.
It's not going to be season 3, I don't think. Although you may see a hint of Mike Barnes in season 3. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know everybody wants you to come to Cobra Kai, so that would be really good. Are you surprised by how successful this show has been?
I'm not, because the guys that created this did something brilliant. They turned the whole concept on its head, and it comes from the point of view that maybe Johnny Lawrence, who was the head of the Cobra Kai, really wasn't the bully.
Right.
They're like, hey, Daniel went in there, tried to take his girl. Daniel hit him first on the beach, and it's a really interesting way of looking at it. And I think it's really also, for people in my generation, it's so nostalgic to see where these characters that were a part of the tapestry of our, of our youth, where they are now as adults. Plus, with Karate Kid being played again and again, and with the remakes and everything, there's a whole other generation that has now been introduced to it. So I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is brilliant, I think. Yeah. And it was a risky move, actually, when you think about it, because if anytime you mess with anything that's a classic, and Karate Kid is a classic. Anytime you mess with that, there's always a risk that people are just not going to like it on principle, but everybody seems to love it. So that's good. That speaks highly of the characters and the franchise itself. So
I agree.
So as I mentioned, you were on General Hospital, and you were let go during your first run, and then you came back after what, a 15-year absence?
Yeah, they brought me back for the 50th anniversary, which was such an honor. I was really touched that Frank Valentini reached out to me and gave me the privilege of coming back, and it was surreal. That was a door that I never thought I'd walk through again. And it was wonderful working again with Maurice Bernard and Leslie Charlson and so many of the actors that it was the first soap that I'd ever done. It was 1992, so long ago. And to work with these people again after all these years was really something special. Yeah.
Well, I think everybody was glad to have AJ back on the screen. So a little bit of nostalgia there. So, well, something I didn't know and I found interesting, you and Steve Burton, who of course plays Jason on General Hospital, are cousins by marriage.
We are cousins by marriage. Yeah. A mutual relative that I don't even know if I know this relative. I think they live in Cleveland. I'm not sure. Right. But Steve and I are cousins by marriage.
That's amazing. I bet a lot of fans don't know that, but that is amazing that the two of you have worked together all these years off and on, and you're related. It's funny. Funny. It's funny how life works sometimes. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your book that you had come out early this year. It's called Success Factor X. It was actually, I think, the #1 new bestseller on Amazon for a while.
It was the #1 new bestseller for a while, and it was also just rated one of the 20 best inspiration books of the last 2 decades by Book Authority. So we're really, really flattered and proud that it's been received that way. It's a very special book for those of you that haven't had a chance to pick it up, and it's on Amazon. We went out to 50 different people, myself and my co-author, Jill Lieberman being 2 of them. And we said, what's the best advice that you have about success? What does success mean to you? And the response we got was incredible. We got everyone from Mark Cuban and Anthony Robbins, Sarah Blakely, the first female billionaire, to Daryl McDaniels, the founding member of Run DMC, baseball players, football players, for daytime fans, Antonio Sabato Jr., Jennifer Finnegan, Tristan Rogers, Kimberlyn Brown, Kate Linder. And what was interesting was all these people that ostensibly come from different backgrounds that have all achieved success. You see that a lot of them talk about some of the very same common denominators that lead them to success. So you start seeing patterns emerge, and you think, or at least what I wanted to convey was there are certain things that people do to achieve success that really you need to do no matter what field you're in. My acting teacher was the late Roy London, and he used to always say, I have more in common with a successful plumber than I do with an unsuccessful acting teacher. Meaning the very same things that it takes to be successful as a plumber many of them are the very same things it takes to be successful as an acting teacher. So, success leaves clues, like Anthony Robbins says, and it also has a lot of common threads too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So have you been able to apply some of the advice that was in your book to your own life or career?
I try to every day. I really
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I do in my life that I think have really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
A couple things that I do. Meditation is important for me. I really try and sort of seize the morning.
Yeah.
And create the trajectory of my day when I first get out of bed. I pray, I meditate, I focus on what my goals are for the day. I try as hard as I can to kind of be my authentic self and connect with people and, be the best guy that I am, and things work out.
Yeah. Well, I read that you try to like get up early every day, set the tone for the day, and that's really helped you kind of accomplish your goals.
Yeah, this has been an interesting year for me. I was working on this book about success.
Mm-hmm.
Over a year ago, I started it, and I had like a really kind of come to Jesus honest conversation with myself. And I said, look, if you're going to write this book about success, you need to walk it like you talk it.
Right.
And there's areas of your life that you need to attend to. And one of them was that I really wanted to do my best to get back in shape. And so I've lost about 35 pounds since starting the book. I've always wanted to learn another language. And so I've been studying Mandarin for a year, and I really, really wanted to get the book done. And the other huge goal was that I wanted to get Studio City made. And, as we're coming to the close of the year, looking back on the year, this has really been a very special year for me. Had a lot of help, but I've accomplished a lot of the real sort of big ticket items that I wanted to get done this year.
Yeah. Well, your father was a businessman, pretty prominent businessman. Do you think growing up with him being so successful, do you think that has had an impact on you on on the longevity of your career?
I think my dad's had a profound influence on me. My father was a very successful businessman. They always say there's two types of people. There's scientists and there's artists. And I think I lean more towards being an artist.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'll be forever thankful to both my parents for is that they really stayed on me to finish college.
Yeah.
Because I was still in UCLA when I did Karate Kid 3, and I kind of very easily could have not finished college and just pursued acting. And I'm so thankful that my parents pushed me to finish college. I got my degree in political science from UCLA. And I think my dad always gave me advice and instruction about, being a businessman. And it's show business. Being able to perform and, you have some God-given talent, and being able to use it is one part of it, but the other part of it is a business. And I think there's a lot of people that are probably much more talented than I, but I think I've had a good education on the other side of things, which has helped me. And I do attribute that to my mom and my dad.
Yeah. Well, are you working on another book now?
I am. I'm working on. What's funny is my dad just asked me to co-write a book with him, and it's a completely different genre. My dad just wrote a really successful book called The Cadence Murders, which was about a murder that took place in my hometown of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, when I was a kid, and became very successful. So he wants to write another true crime novel, and I actually suggested the subject matter, which I'm not going to say. Thinking of writing one with him. I'm also working on another book called Freeing David, which is a philosophical self-help book, and hopefully it will be out. No, it will be out. It will be out sometime next year.
Okay, well that's good. We'll have to keep an eye out for that.
You got to hold yourself to goals, because if you give yourself the wiggle room and say, well, maybe I'll get it out, then it won't come out.
Yeah.
But when I say to myself, it's coming out, then
okay.
I've committed now to you guys, so I got to put it out.
Right, it's out there now. You got to do it. Well, on that note, there was something about your first book. You were trying to set a goal of when to get it finished. Did you really finish that in 30 days?
My first book, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Because I am still one of the great procrastinators.
Yeah.
I've gotten better with it, but I knew that if I gave myself a long time to do it, it would fall through the cracks. So I made a deal with a publisher, and I said, I will do this, but you have to hold me to turning in a manuscript in 30 days. And I locked myself in a room and wrote and wrote and wrote. My wife was really helpful with editing.
Yeah.
And I plowed through it. And, I'm very proud of that book. So,
yeah.
if you haven't gotten that one, The Modern Gentleman, and that's available on Amazon too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a like sort of almost like a self-help book for men to
hybrid. It's for men to be better men, and for women to kind of understand how men think.
Yeah.
Gentlemen without being doormats. And I think also there's a lot of really good advice in the book, especially during sort of the Me Too movement. I mean, I think there's good advice about how to treat women, how to treat people, and to a certain extent, how to treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is not by the way, I just noticed this was in the first round. I'm at a friend's place right now.
That's okay. I hope nothing broke a few minutes ago.
No, I don't think so. I'm actually looking for a charger because I just got the 5% sign.
Oh, no. Yeah, and we're just about to talk about Studio City, so
definitely.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to run out of battery now.
And I turned the disposer on. Okay, I'm killing it. All right, hold on a second.
That's okay.
Don't worry, everything's out of control.
Yeah. Well.
Let's see. Okay. And there we go. So that didn't help. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me plug this in. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I'm back. Can you? Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Balance that. Okay. All good.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, let's talk Studio City.
Yeah.
You and your wife co-wrote this series.
Yeah. Okay, here's what happened.
Okay.
This show has been a really long time in the making, and I didn't know it was going to be this show. Over a decade ago, I started working on a project about an actor who was an over-the-hill soap actor, and he's lived his life in kind of the bubble of C-level fame. Mm-hmm. But he's disillusioned and wants more. And along the way, I partnered with another guy from my hometown, and we developed this. And I was very lucky that I was able to partner with my friend Tim Woodward Jr., who is a really gifted director and producer. And I've done a couple of movies for Tim, one of which is actually out right now. It's called Beyond the Law with Steven Seagal and DMX. And Tim and I were talking, and I kind of pitched him this idea. And my wife tells me that she had actually pitched it to him before about doing a digital series. And so what we decided to do was to take what I had written and retool it and turn it into a digital series. And it's now called Studio City. And I'm so proud of this. And it's going to launch tonight on Amazon Prime at midnight, all 6 episodes, the first season. And we've assembled a terrific cast. We have Patrika Darbo, Tristan Rogers, Carolyn Hennessy, Sarah Brown came out of retirement, 3-time Emmy Award winner Sarah Brown, Scott Turner Schofield. I'm in it. I play Sam Stevens, aka Dr. Pierce Hartley, and I wanted to show what it's like for a guy working on a soap opera, but also what the life is like off the camera. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot of humor in it. It's got a lot of poignant and sometimes really heart-wrenching stuff. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a love letter for the soaps. Soap operas have been such an important part of my life since 1992. Yeah. And I have such great affection for the medium, and it's given me so much that I wanted to create something that was a way of giving back. And like I said, I was just so fortunate to find a benefactor in my friend Tim. This guy is a feature film director, and for him to be willing to do a digital series was a real coup. And the great thing is that no disrespect to any of the other digital series out there, but this has such a cool cinematic look. Our DP Pablo Diaz has shot like 10 movies for Tim, so this really kind of, I think, takes it to a different level.
Yeah, I noticed the cinematography was really different than anything that I had seen in a while.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. I said it to you. You got an advanced look, so
I did. Thank you for that. I was so excited to get to see the first and last episode, but then I was like, I want to see the middle, and I want to see season 2. So
tonight.
It's just a little bit of a teaser. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I think everyone else is too. These are beloved actors that you have on the show.
That you're seeing these actors that daytime fans know, but you're seeing them in a very, very different role, very different capacity. The work that Tristan Rogers does in this is just heartbreaking. I mean, it's beautiful. He's not Robert Scorpio in this.
No, he's definitely, there's no trace of Robert Scorpio from what I saw.
I mean, I could brag about everybody. I'm just so proud of the cast that we assembled and the hard work that everybody put into this.
While you were writing it, did you have a specific cast already kind of in mind, or?
I had for sure Patrika Darbo in mind. I had Sarah Brown in mind. Mm-hmm. I knew I wanted to find something for Tristan because we're good friends. Mm-hmm. I pretty much only saw Carolyn Hennessy as the character she played, and Tim brought several of the actors to the project too that I'd never worked with, and I just thought they were all terrific too. So it really worked out well. Yeah,
it seems to be a nice cohesive cast with good chemistry, and so I think it worked out. I think it worked out really well, and I think everyone will love it when it comes out. Tell us a little bit more about your character, Sam Stevens, because this is your character off the screen, because it's a soap within a soap.
It's a soap within a soap. I play Sam Stevens, aka Dr. Pierce Hartley, America's favorite TV doctor, starring on the #2 soap opera in the land called Hearts on Fire. And Sam's a guy that is dealing with a lot of the same stuff most people deal with at work. He's got coworkers that he's got conflict with. He's got a boss that's breathing down his neck. He's no spring chicken, and that's just his life in front of the camera. He's got an overbearing mother who's got secrets of her own, and I don't want to give away too much, but the guy's definitely got a full plate. And to be honest, the character really is not terribly different, I think, than who I am as a person. I mean, I think Sam is maybe a little more. He's maybe a little more shallow in the beginning and lived a little more in a bubble because he's been a star for so long. But he definitely has some experiences thrown at him that are going to change him and deepen him as a person. Yeah,
force him to kind of grow up a little bit, probably.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of a Peter Pan thing going on.
He does kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys do.
Yeah. Well, maybe your book would help.
Yeah.
So how much of this series is kind of inspired, like the situations inspired from like stuff that you've experienced or seen other people in the industry experience?
Some of it is stuff that I've experienced. Some of the stuff off camera are people who I know who have experienced stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, you write what you know. I mean, that's what the best writers do. And I mean, having worked off and on in daytime for, parts of 3 decades, my work in daytime definitely has colored this.
Yeah.
As I would imagine, for Carolyn, who plays the producer of the show, she's probably tapping into people she may have known. But, I think you bring to it what you know and what you live.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you said it's going to be released the 20th, or is it going to be released tonight at midnight?
Tonight. Which
Okay.
is tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I need to change that in my.
All 6 episodes are coming out, and I just really hope everyone will spread the word. We're the new kids on the block, so nobody really knows who we are yet. And we're really kind of word of mouth, and hopefully people will write some reviews on Amazon. And we're really hoping that we'll be able to bring you season 2, because we've got a lot of really special stuff in store. We've got a really special creative team, and a lot of energy and a lot of ideas.
Yeah. Well, I know that Twitter is kind of lighting up, retweeting, and everybody's really excited that this cast has been brought together. So I think that you guys are going to have quite a few viewers at midnight. Fingers crossed.
I sure hope so.
Well, I also want to mention that you will be headlining at the Comedy Store in LA on January 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Erin Soto, who is one of the actresses in Studio City, will also be performing. Okay. And hopefully we'll have a bunch of the cast members in the audience. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I always love, the Comedy Store is the world famous Comedy Store.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody from Richard Pryor to Eddie Murphy to Robin Williams has performed there. And I'm just honored to, get on that stage.
Yeah. Well, I've posted a link underneath this interview for discounted tickets.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, because you put it on Twitter, so I'm going to put it on here and put it out on Twitter again, and we'll see if we can get you a big crowd there. So,
no tomatoes or rotten fruit allowed.
Right? No, we don't want to do that. So, is there anything else you would like to add before we go?
No, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you and to speak to the fans. And, just from the bottom of my heart, I really hope everyone will watch Studio City. Like I said, it's a love letter to the soaps. And we're so proud of it. And I hope everyone will take a moment and watch it. Yeah, it's streaming on Amazon Prime at midnight. Yep. So, okay. Well, Sean, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care. Have a wonderful holiday. You too. Bye-bye.